Yo guys, welcome to another replay analysis in Platinum League Protoss versus Protoss. Literal Mom Capitan versus the guy named Protoss. It's actually the Protoss themselves. It's kind of crazy. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at Mon Capitan's gameplay. And the way replay analysis works is we basically, go over his problems, try and help him out, figure out what's going on, see if I can help him get better at the game. Things like that. Interesting. I don't know what this is, Mon Capitan, but okay. All right. So I think what you're doing right now, if I had to assimilate the information of what I just saw right there as to what you were doing, I think you're worried about a cannon rush, and you being worried about a cannon rush right now is impossible. And the reason why is because a probe that cannon rushes you as early as possible won't even start cannon rushing you until about 50 seconds. You have to consider travel time across the map, and you both have it. Like, he can't teleport. So going from here to about here by itself is about 30 seconds. And then if you compare going from here to here, that is about like 6 seconds. So you running your first probe out of the Nexus to build a pylon and then sit down here, all you really did is you wasted probably like 2 trips of mining. It's not, again, it's like 10 minerals. It's not the end of the world, but it's a waste. It literally is a waste. You can't get cannon rush this fast. Also, you got to consider the build time of things. The Forge has an 18-second build time. Or sorry, the pylon has an 18-second build time, and the Forge has a 32-second build time. That's 50 seconds of build time that you can't even cannon rush with. Yeah, there's so many reasons why you can't cannon rush that fast. Another one would be you can't generate enough money to build a pylon and a Forge and pylons here to prepare for a cannon rush within the first like 30 seconds of the game. You don't have that much money, so how could he? Like, you could not build a Forge right now and like 2 pylons to like wall off shit. Or 3 pylons. You can't afford that. It's too much fucking money. So you just wasted money. You're playing paranoid, and that's not a good sign. Okay. You're kind of boosting your Nexus. That's good. Make sure you, you made one mistake here as well. A lot of people make this mistake constantly. And it's okay. It's very fixable. What you should do is when you build your gateway and you have probe 6 right now, that probe right there you just made, that behind the first probe, that is good, okay? That is good. But what you should do right now is you should build your gateway, because if you would have enough money right now to build it as well if you didn't like this probe sit there forever. But you build the gateway, then you tell probe to go to his base, that's fine. But then as soon as you build gateway, you chrono boost Nexus, build gas, and then build another probe. And the reason why is because if you do it that way, you will get a gas out right as you saturate 16 out of 16, and you can have probe 17 up here in your base, which is really probe 18 because you have a scout, if that makes sense. It still exists. But your first probe after your 16 out of 16 will be able to actually mine the gas. If you don't build the gas on time right now, you're going to have a 17 out of 16 mineral line, or you're going to have a probe sitting there on a building gas that's going to be waiting. It's another, just like I said, you lost about 10 minerals by sitting there. You're losing probably like 8 to 12 gas by not doing this right now. Because what you're doing is you're queuing up another probe instead of building your gas right now. And then it's just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And look at when the probe pops. You see how the probe pops right now? Look at your money. You can afford a gas right now. So, and this is also assuming that you wasted time not mining minerals too. By like there earlier, because that still affects the entire game. So you would actually be like at 85. You could easily make another probe before your chrono pops the first probe out and not miss a probe here. But now your gas is super fucking late. Like, this gas went down probably like 10 seconds later than it should have. So now, as you'll notice, this probe will go back to mine minerals. Now you're going to go back to 15 to 16. And then this probe will pop out, and you'll be at 16 into 16. And now if you tell the, see, this is exactly what I'm saying. Your gas right now should be like there already in production, like right around there. So that as the gas finishes, this probe pops out and you start mining gas. But now you're going to either go 17 out of 16 or you're going to have a probe sitting on that gas doing nothing for a while. And it's going to miss about 2 to 3 turn-ins of gas that it would have otherwise been able to mine. These are things that are literally slowing your build down. It's not the most impactful ever. It's not like, oh my god, you're now fucking dead. But realistically, it's just bad macro. It's something that can be cleaned up, and it will make everything faster for you. And faster is better. And someone else, like for instance, if someone else, you know, does proper opener over you, they're just gonna have a little bit of an edge every time. Okay, so you get into his base and he's got double gateway. What are you doing with that Nexus right there? Hold on. Okay. This is correct so far. With your Nexus and your core, the fact that you cut probes at 20 to do this, that's correct. That's fine. That's good. But I think you cut probes again to make the gas this time. When you don't want to do that this time. Like, you should be making a probe right now. Again, you're not even fully saturated on the gas yet. Hey, you make a gas before a probe. So that's a fuck up right there. So this time, you want to make the Nexus in the core and then start probe production again immediately. And then as you're coming back, because again, it's the same thing, right? What you're doing is you're tying up money and you're delaying things when you don't need to do that. So the first time what you did was you're waiting on a 12-second probe and you started another one behind it. And you waited to make the gas. So you got no benefit when you tied up the probe on the Nexus. And then eventually you took the gas. You got the gas, the probes never changed. But you got the gas late. Now, you're taking gas really early, but you're not going to have probes to fill it up. Because you're actually, like, while your probe is building the core, and you're coming back to build the gas, you're queuing up a gas build command, and you're not making a probe. When you can afford one. So, if you would have made a probe first, the travel time of you going from here to here would have given you enough money to build the gas. So you could have told your probe to go here, and then as it's like right there, you tell it to build the gas. But meanwhile, your probe is like halfway done again. Because you're wasting a ton of time not building a probe right now. And now, are you going to build a pylon before you build a probe too? Yeah, and then you build a pylon before you build a probe. So, same thing again. The pylon is obviously supposed to not make you supply block. And the correct way this is supposed to go is probe 23 out of 23 should be in production as the pylon is in production. And probe 23 out of 23 is like 11 seconds out of, or 11 out of 12 seconds ish, or like 10 out of 12 seconds, as your pylon is like 17 out of 18 seconds. Like the pylon and the probe out of 23 supply should be finished. If the build's done properly, your supply block is supposed to happen right as your supply finishes, so that you don't get supply blocked. It's like super close. But this game for you, you're going to be like at 21 out of 23 when your pylon's done, because you just cut probes for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds here. 30 is a bit much. More like 20 seconds though, for real. That's a long time. And then you start making probes now. And you chrono boosted before the pylon. This is incorrect. So, first 2 chrono boosts are supposed to happen after the first 2 pylons. Pylon number 1 finishes, chrono boost 1 starts. Pylon number 2 finishes, chrono boost number 2 starts. You're double chrono boosting between the first and second pylon. So you're going pylon number 1 finishes, chrono boost probe, build all my buildings, chrono boost probe again, and then build pylon. Like, the only reason why this works, it might seem like it's correct, but the only reason why it's working is because you're just not building probes and you should be. And now you're going to have, now, like for this one, you had a gas that was up late and you had probes waiting to mine it. Now this one's going to be up and you have no probes to mine it. So you're doing both gases like incorrectly, I would say. Okay, and now your base is up. It's up and running. It's up and running. But I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot of incorrect opener right there for you. You could be a lot further ahead than you are already. And now, when you chrono boost your gateway, this should be... So, your Nexus should be chrono boosted right now as well, after your pylon's done, alongside your gateway being chrono boosted. So, chrono boost 1 is Nexus only, chrono boost 2 is Nexus and gateway together. But now, you're going to start developing slower, as you can see.
Oh, yeah.
After your second pylon.
10 months already. Holy Mon Capitaine GM in no time.
Yo, thank you very much to make it Benji for the 10. Much love, dude. Then you're not building probes. That's what I'm talking about, guys. Like I said, we were talking about this in chat like, literally minutes before I turned this replay analysis on, and people are like, how do I get out of platinum? And I was like, it's because your macro's not good. Things like this. Not building probes again. The longer you don't build shit out of your buildings, the more it's gonna fuck you over. Every time. You gotta really... It's like, it's a never-ending process of really having to fine-tune that. Okay, another thing too is another thing. This is now gonna be reactive scouting to a degree, okay? Cause yeah, you're this is not good for you. If you scout your opponent is going for a double gateway right off the bat, it means that their nexus is going to be super delayed. And also watch this too. Let's go back to your scout. This is important. This shit is a little bit above platinum, I'm not going to lie, but you can definitely pay attention to shit like this and it's going to be eye-opening for you. Look at your nexus right now. Look at your nexus right now. And the specific thing I want you to look at is your energy pool. You have 60. Barely enough for a chrono boost. That is a lot more than 60. That is 110. And how do I know it's 110 without even clicking on the nexus? Because the chrono boost costs 50. What is 50 plus 60? Okay, so he's got 111. You have 61. So sorry, you actually have 61 exactly. Because I hit play and pause again. You were 60 a second ago. You get the point though. No one be fucking crazy out there. Be like, it's 11-5, you fucking idiot. All right, it's okay. Same shit though. He's 50 ahead of you, which means he hasn't chrono boosted his nexus. So the fact that he hasn't chrono boosted his nexus and he's double gatewaying you, there's two ways you can deal with this. Number one, you make a quick fucking battery at your natural. Or, number two, you could save your chrono boost on your second chrono boost on your nexus. You could, instead of using it there, you could save it to double chrono boost your gateway. And then slowly add on a battery. Either way, you need a battery. But you can either prioritize it or you can delay it a little bit. Now, if you prioritize the battery, your second pylon should actually be on the low ground. Not up here near the gas. Because you can't prioritize a battery if it's your third pylon. Like, you basically would want to be making a battery the second your fucking pylon is done. The second pylon is done. Was this a one base all in? No, it's not. It doesn't have to be. Two gateway opener is two gateway opener and saving chrono boost can literally just be pressure if he wants it to be, or like harassment, or it could be an all in if he wants to turn it deeper into that and make more gates. But two gateways is not enough to justify an all in. That's just literal control at that point. He would need like 4 gates to be an all in, or it would need to have like a proxy robo with it or some shit, or like a proxy stargate for it to be an all in. This is pretty fucking normal, honestly. 1 gate expand versus 2 gateway opener is a pretty normal scenario. And you need to do something that is not just half-assing a stalker out there to not take damage, and having to pull your probes is already a lose condition for you. That's not good. So like the fact that the stalker's already a lot, like pretty far the way in, like there would need to be a battery that's already also like 10 seconds into production already, because the stalkers are on their way. And also you're like, you got to realize too, these stalkers are going to be out faster than this right here, because this was not Nexus before core. This is a fucking fast core. So yeah, you got to respect that, and you got to make your battery. Or like whatever. I would just recommend the battery, honestly, for platinum. I would, because you got to micro your units properly if you do the double chrono boost technique, and that's not really what you should be focused on in platinum. Just make a fucking battery faster. If you scout someone's gonna be aggressive like this, and then you got to also, you really got to be careful here. If you had a battery down and you did a single chrono on a stalker, and then you periodically made more units out of your gateway, that's fine. You would really, very much though, need to have a probe sitting like right here on top of the ramp, because if you don't have a probe sitting in this area right there, if he goes adepts, if this guy actually decided to go adept instead, and right now 2 adept shades went like this into your fucking main base, how do you stop that? You would be fucking dead. Like, this would just be 2 adepts getting in your base. And the game, like, if this guy was like a master's level Protoss, obviously you're platinum. But all I'm saying is you can't do this kind of shit at higher levels of play, like diamond masters. Because if you got 2 adepts in your base and went behind the mineral line, he could kill probably 8 probes right now. Or make you run your entire mineral line, which would suck. That's not great, right? Because then you're just losing a lot of mining time. And now you just lost your first stalker and your sentry. And you're not even mining with your probes. And you've also lost how many probes? None so far. Now that's 1. 2. Yeah, you just need a fucking battery, dude. Like, really, really bad.
Research complete. I return to serve. I am here in the shadow.
Okay, now your life is 1,000 times easier because you have a battery. Here we go again, guys. That's what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. So right here, supplies looking good. Production's looking good. Units are being made. This is bad, though. Make sure you cancel that. That's really bad. Okay, you're not canceling it, so you're just letting it go. Keep in mind, your cool, like the build time. This is always so hard to explain because I don't know why. I feel like it's just hard for people to understand this. Maybe I'm bad at explaining this one thing, but every time I explain this, I feel like I confuse people. The cooldown of a stalker in a warp gate is like 23, 24 seconds. Or it's like 23 seconds. I think it's 23 exactly. And the build time of a stalker in a gateway is 30 seconds. So having a warp gate gives you stalkers every round you make them 7 seconds faster. Having a normal non-warp gate, standard gateway, builds stalkers every round of stalkers that you make 7 seconds slower. Not only that, you also get the stalker at the start of the building round rather than at the end of it, which is an immediate advantage at that point in time if you have a warp gate. So make sure you never fucking do this where you just keep queuing up stalkers after you have a warp gate, because that is really bad. That's actually super bad. But now check this out. So he's starting to attack you, right? Before he attacked you, your macro, other than that part right there, looked okay. You had a decent amount of supply cushion. You were making probes. You're spinning. You're still actually using your buildings for the most part. But the second he comes up your ramp, which is right now, you stop making pylons. You stop building probes. After these last probes pop out, you stop building probes. You stop building units. You stop building everything for a second here. Like if we look at your production now, watch your production. And you're red, obviously. No pylon. Your probes have been queued up, but now you're fighting him, right? Now your stalker is out, and you still haven't used this warp gate. There's the pylon finally. And now you're not making a probe on one of your nexus, even though you could afford it, because you're still not blocked for probing, but you are blocked on your immortal. And you're also not blocked on your gateways, but you're not using those either. And then this probe finishes, and you stop building probes there too. And now you're making 3 pylons at once. Like you had a moment of tunnel vision, and you don't fucking macro anymore. And then when the moment is over, what happened? When did you start these pylons? I can already predict it was when you guys disengaged from each other. So you chase him down the ramp. Right here, you chase him, you chase him, you chase him. And the second you disengage, pylons will go down now. Now a pylon will go down in about 2 seconds. And there's your pylon, because you disengaged. You're tunnel visioning like crazy. Just hold the, just in this kind of a situation, there's 2 ways you can fight it. Hold the ramp or hold the front of your nexus. And I would say it would probably make more sense for you to hold the front of your nexus because you put your battery in such a back position. If you put a pylon like right there and you put a battery like right there, I would say hold the top of the ramp. And when I say hold, I don't mean literally hold position your units. I just mean like just fucking make sure your army stays there. Just if he comes up to fight you, fight starts happening. If you notice your army starts chasing him, just fucking right click back here. And forget about it. And then go right back to macroing and really trying to pay attention. Don't tunnel vision the fight and be like, what's he doing? 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 You don't gotta focus fire anything. You don't need to you don't need to pull back units at all. You don't need to micro anything. You don't need to use a force field. Literally nothing. Just macro, because if you don't macro, then you do need to do stuff because you're not gonna have enough units. You're gonna start falling behind. And then if you fall behind, then suddenly each unit you have matters more because you have less. And now you have 700 minerals because you weren't doing shit for a while there. And you're just banking money. Also, I know it sounds scary, but Mon Capitan, the 2-minute rule applies to even when you're getting attacked in Platinum. You need to be taking a 3rd base by now. You need to be getting ready soon to set up your 4th base. Sounds crazy, but you're super far behind on your macro. This guy also is not all in. He harassed you, but you fucked yourself over by how you dealt with the harass because you ran your probes off the mineral line and chased them around for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds. So you put yourself behind with minerals in the early part. You put yourself behind with gas in the early part. You put yourself behind again with your other gas. You put yourself behind again with your units dying and having to rebuild them, and then also not mining at all with your probes, and then you lost probes. So many things have put you behind already in this game that is making your game fall apart when none of it needed to be happening at all. If you just made a battery as a reaction to this, and then if you also just had a more clean opener of as to what we talked about, you could have AFK defended that, everything he did to you, easy peasy, and you could have started your 3rd by around 4 minutes, and you could be already having a nicely saturated 3rd, and then you could be starting your 4th base probably like 30 to 40 seconds from now. And now he's got a adept attack in your base, and this is obviously annoying for you, for sure. The best thing you could do, here's the best thing you could do to defend this, okay? 2-step maneuver. Step number 1, army, move the area. Step number 2, green box probes, right click a patch, shift, right click a patch. And then as soon as you get him out of your base, make a fucking pylon like right there. Make a pylon like right there. Make a pylon like right there. Maybe even eventually make a pylon like right here. And maybe another pylon eventually. I'm not saying make them all right now, but start spreading your pylons out. Because this dude is fucking harassing your economy. Another thing you can do is you can start spreading your army out around your base. You could be like, okay, I'll leave like 5 stalkers here. I'll leave like 5 stalkers here. I'll leave like my immortals and the rest of my stalkers here. And then you could scout him with hallucinated phoenixes and make sure he's not going to push you. Because if he does, you need to regroup your army. You're not macroing again. And you're not, like, the probes are still sitting here. Like, look at your macro during the fight. You need to really get, like, what do you, hold on, I'm gonna watch your camera. I want to see what you're clicking. I literally, honestly, exactly what you're clicking in this moment. Okay, so you're getting ready to go take your third base. You can see adepts in your minimap in the main base right now. Now they're attacking you. This is your mistake right here, Mon Capitan. Okay, okay, you did it. A little bit. You're doing it again, though. Look at this really fast. We're going to get it right when it starts, and we're going to count this until it leaves your base. The second you turn around. Right now. Okay, so 5:38. 5:38 is the start of this all, because now you know what's happening. You're aware of it. We're going to count every second that goes by where you have your army selected. Okay? And I'm not saying don't select your army ever. I'm just saying let's actually watch how much of a percentage of time happens here that you have your army selected. Now look at your production at the same time. Okay? So we're looking at the army selection and we're looking at production up top. So 5:38 is the start of this. Okay, so army selected at 5:39. Army selected at 5:39. That's the first part. And your production is kind of rolling off here. Things are stopping. Everything stopped. You're no longer producing anything. You are AFK on production at the moment. You're still selecting army from 5:39 right now. You just, okay, so 5:45. So that was, that's 6 seconds so far. 6 seconds. Okay. And you macro for 1 second. You make one stalker. Okay. Now, you go right back to army at 5:48. So 5:48 is the new start for this attack. So if we have 6 seconds from 5:38, so think about this too, right? From 5:38 to 5:44, you only had your army selected, and then from 5:44 to 5:48, you made one stalker. You clicked your gateways and your immortal robo whatever, and you literally just made one stalker. That was it. So let's write that down in a parenthesis, okay? 4 seconds to make one stalker. I'm not trying to shit on you. It's just relevant. Because you got to really think about how to maximize your time here. And then going forward again from 5:48, this is, you're still selecting your army. Selecting your army, selecting your army. Still making nothing. And now he leaves, and now you will probably go back to macroing. Let's see how long it takes to, right now, 5:59. 5:59. So that's 5:48 to 5:59. That's another 11 seconds. So that's 11 plus 6 seconds is 17. So overall, 17 seconds of army usage. 4 seconds of macro to make one stalker. You spent 17 seconds defending that, and you made like the only thing I will say about your about that moment when you did something effective was when you pulled your probes away. That's the only thing I think you did that was effective there in terms of like your something with macro relativity to it, because you're trying to save your probes, and you pulled your probes away. But notice how you also didn't build a single probe the entire time. You built 0 probes the entire time. You are tunnel visioning so ridiculously hard right now. You're massive tunnel visioning this, and you're missing so much opportunity to do shit. So even though that guy right there only killed a couple probes, I would say he probably killed what, like 5 probes? I don't know, something around there. You could have made almost 4 probes there. Almost, not quite, but almost. You'd have like 2 already out, and then like halfway on to the next 2 probes. Realistically. there's a lot of recovery that happens there. And then if we go further forward, what happens now? How do you recover from? Because look at your money right now. You have you have 1,100 plus minerals, and you have a little bit of gas, but you're not mining gas anymore either because you ripped off for a while and you just left them here. That's also why I was saying you should probably shift click it, like right click or sorry, green box, right click a mineral patch, hold shift, right click here. That way, what it tells probes to do is every probe will come here and mine one mineral patch and then come back, and the probes will spread themselves out and mine a patch and then come back, and then they're back now. And like, what's happening with your probes right now? You're taking a while to fix the economy here. There we go. I think you were just trying to do the math on it and like add it up to be like, okay, grab some more, 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 grab some more. That's what I think you were doing. I would say honestly at this point, when you're like this, just do it faster. Like, literally go like this. I'm not even kidding, dude. Go like this. You're ready to fix your economy? 100% do this, okay? Watch. Look how fast this is. You need to do shit faster. So, looks like a mess over here. Your fucking mineral line at your natural looks like a goddamn mess. Go like this. Take your mouse. Put it like right in the middle. Green box just like that. Take a massive chunk out of the middle, just like that. Right click. Right there. Now, it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect. I just grabbed. Well, those two shades can't be grabbed because those are his, so it would only select this for you. I just grabbed 19 probes. And what you could do then, if you grab 19 probes off the mineral line out of 31, what is 31 minus 19? That is 18. Right? No, wait, what? No, it's 12. What am I talking about? Jesus Christ, I'm so bad at math. Sorry. It's 12. 12 probes. And realistically, that's actually not bad. You want to know why that's not bad? You need 21 probes for your main. And if you have 12 probes here now, you would need 4 more for your natural. That would actually work. Because you need to fix your gas as well in the main base. That would be fine. And suddenly you're good to go again. You could have both nexuses rallying to their own mineral line for a second and then fix your shit and you're good to go. Now, let's just say hypothetically, let's say for whatever reason, 19 was too many because now that you're going to go down to 12 here, you're like, oh, well, I want 4 more to go back. You could actually take a green box again and grab 4 probes off of the line running to your main and go into your natural again with it. Just really, like, this is hard to explain because people just aren't confident with their mouse. I would say, how do I want to explain this? You just got to be confident in how you can click your mouse, literally. Faster is better than precise. That's probably the best thing the best way I can describe this. Speed is better than precision. Speed is better. Being a slow ass who precisely does shit is fucking bad. Being someone who's fast and a little sloppy is better. Because the faster you do shit, you will slowly become more precise over time. But doing shit fast is important. Nothing has to be perfect. If you make a mistake, fix it again really fast. I would rather you spend like 1 second going, guys, go there, than going, oh shit, I sent 2 probes too many. Green box, go back. I'd rather you do that than going, okay, need 16. That's too many of that. Whoops. Okay, go back. You know what I mean? Like, fuck that shit. It's so slow. Don't do it, Mon Capitan. Don't do it. And a scary thing for you as well is you completely forgotten about your third base. This whole time. You're tunnel visioning again. You are struggling really hard with dealing with distraction. Now, I would tell you this. Leave these units here. Green box half of these units, leave them there. Take the other half, leave them there. Warp in new units wherever the fuck you want, like in your natural or something. And you need to scout. The reason why you need to scout, here's why you need to scout. How many fucking gateways does this guy have? And also, does he have a third base? Because if this guy is a economy harasser, if he's really aggressive and he likes to harass economy, leave your fucking units around your base. And you don't have to micro anything anymore. He'll run into you and you kill him and you don't even do anything. Again, if you just macro, you'll have a lot of shit. But you're not macroing again. You keep stopping macro. This is a concept everyone really needs to understand. In Platinum League, or anything below Platinum League, you guys think you need to micro because if you don't, you die. But the real reality of the situation is if you stop getting distracted and you just fucking macro, you wouldn't be at 68 supply at almost 7 minutes in the game. You'd be at 90 or almost 100. And then you would also not be on 2 bases by almost 7 minutes. You'd be on 4 bases already. And you would also not have just 2 gateway robo anymore. This is around the time when you'd probably start exploding your gateway count to like 8 gates. Like maybe 10, 20 seconds from now. This build is so far behind. And when you let yourself get tunnel vision and the micro and you fall behind and fall behind and fall behind and now you have less than you should at this point in the game, it means you now actually do have to micro because you don't have shit anymore. And then if you don't micro and don't have units either, then you die. Because the players who don't really have a lot of units are players who are trying to micro at these levels of play. And if you're also not really microing, but you're just watching the battles and spamming a move, a move, a move, a move, or whatever you're doing, you're going to have a low army count and you're not going to have the micro you need to really overcome your opponent because you're not actually microing. You're just kind of watching the battles. Like, just because you're looking at the fight and you're giving your units commands doesn't mean you're actually microing. There is actually a lot of ways players in lower leagues, they actually hurt their units more than help them because they touch their units. Like, there are plenty of situations where I've seen players that are lower level make their units perform worse because they're actually controlling them. And you're like, okay, this guy is microing really bad. Like, he is move commanding way too much, or like he's walking way too deep into the army, taking way too much hits to the face, or he's not actually stutter stepping properly. He keeps missing shots because he keeps wasting his attack animation and moving again. Things like that. Like, you actually sometimes hurt yourself if you try to micro units because you don't fucking know how to do it properly. So, but again, the less you have, the more you need to micro because you don't have shit. So you need to make it, whatever you do have, perform efficiently. So it's putting you into like a lose-lose position here. Because you're just not... Like, again, we're getting close here. 7 minutes. We're 1 minute away from you needing to have a 5th base. 5 fucking bases. It means you should be taking either this base or this base 1 minute from now. Because you should already have that base, that base, that base, and that base. You still haven't started a 3rd. And now you're getting harassed again, and now you're not going to start the 3rd again. I guarantee you're going to be distracted, and you're going to tunnel vision this again. But look, notice how, I mean, I'm not going to lie. You're overstacking the natural, you're understacking the main, and you have nothing at the 3rd base. I'm proud of you for taking the 3rd base during this. That's a bonus. I did not think you would take it. But you did. I am actually proud of you for taking your 3rd during an attack. That makes me happy for you. But I think you have to identify how your opponent plays the game. And your opponent plays the game in a very harassy kind of a style. So leave your units scattered around your base. Because right now what's happening is you don't have enough units here to stop the adepts. And what is he doing? He's over microing and he's focus firing your probes. And why is he? And the shield battery is doing nothing because it's enough damage to insta kill a probe. A battery doesn't give a probe a shield. It just replenishes shields. And the probe itself doesn't have enough shield to not die in 2 hits from an adept. So if there are even 2 adepts and he focus fires, your probe just dies. A battery cannot heal that. And you don't have enough stalkers here to push the adepts away or kill them fast because you have like 5 or like 10% of your army right here and you have like 90% of your army over here. So definitely got to spread yourself out a little bit better. And then not only that, you don't have a lot of units either because you just are low on supply at this point in the game, for sure. Now watch how fast they die if they come here. Insta fucking dead. Because and these units aren't even helping. They like went north against these guys only. Imagine if like 4 more stalkers or something were in the main helping this. And then imagine now if you had units here too. I am proud of you for scouting with this Hussein Phoenix at some point, but again, not doing that shit enough. You did 1 scout. And now you're starting to add on more gateways. And this is, again, this is another fallacy. This is another fallacy of StarCraft 2. I am okay with the fact that you made more gateways because you had a lot of money. However, you have a lot of money because you're not fucking using your buildings. You can genuinely stay on 2 gateways until you're on 4 bases with beta GM and 1 robo. And you can spend your money to 0 every time. And you can, I'm telling you right now, I did, like, if you go watch beta GM series, literally go download the replay packs and watch some of the games in Platinum. I'm not even making this shit up. I out macroed people who would have 6 fucking gateways in Platinum with 2 gateways. I would have more gateway units than they would. And they would have 3 times the gateway count that I did. And why does that make any sense? Because they would make units every 90 seconds, and I would make units every fucking cooldown. So I would actually squeeze out 4 rounds of 2 gateways, which is 8 gateway value, and the time that they would make 1 round of 6 gateways. Because they don't macro. They don't fucking macro at all. They just forget, like, literally just do macro like once every 2 minutes, or once every like minute and a half. Because they're just distracted by so much shit. Because they're like, I'm going to adept attack you. I'm going to fucking fly a prism around your base. I'm going to use a void ray. I'm going to try and oracle you with the beam. Things like that. I'm going to pulsar beam your ass. They just don't pay attention to macro. And what you did here is you don't even have a 3rd base right now that is saturated. You have 1 probe on a 3rd nexus that's not even done yet. It's still in construction. So you have a very bad economy right now, overall. And also, you're so late now that your main is mining out. Some of these patches are literally going to deplete before you even set up your 3rd base. So your income is looking pretty weak, is what I'm trying to say. And you're actually having so much money that you're now spending it on gateways. And this is the fallacy of lower level players, is they make too much production with too little income, and you're going to once again reinforce that your gateway usage is going to be very low. Like you're if you don't, it's not about making buildings. It's about making shit out of your buildings. So if you can't make shit out of your buildings and spend your money properly that way, and instead you just don't do that, and you just make more buildings, you're going to only, like, so let me say it like this. This will make a lot of sense, hopefully, for people to understand. If you have 50% uptime on 2 gateways and your money gets high, and then your response to that is to make like 3 more gateways, you're not going to have 50% uptime on 5 gateways off of a bad economy as well. You're now going to have like 30% uptime on 5 gateways. And the crazy thing that people don't really understand is that 30% uptime on like 5 gates is pretty much the same thing as like 50% uptime on 2 gateways. It's super close. And people do this shit all the time in lower leagues. It's like this is the trap people fall into repeatedly, where they're like, oh, I got a lot of money, I gotta spend it, make more buildings, and then they don't use their buildings. They're like, oh well, I got a lot of money, make buildings again. Now I'm gonna have 10% uptime on 10 gateways. And it's like, bro, if you just changed your perception on how you spend your building, like like actually use the building, you could make 2 gateways feel like 8 gateways. Seriously, if you just use it. Like, how do you do that? The thing we talked about in BDGM all the time, which was 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5. You're not checking it every minute, every 2 minutes. You're checking it like every 3 seconds. Because what else are you doing? You can also check it with, you have 2 hands, right? This is where StarCraft's hard, like muscle memory comes into play. Because if you have 2 hands, you can check 4-5 while you move your mouse around the screen. You do not have to do one thing at a time. You can go 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5, 4-5. The whole time you're checking your mineral lines. You can do 2 things at once. Like, imagine if you were like trying to eat a steak with one hand. And let's say you put you take your one hand and you're like, you put your, grab a fork and you put the fork in the steak and then you let go of the fork. And then you take your other hand and you grab a knife and you start cutting in between the prongs of the fork with one hand. And there's like, it's not going the greatest. And then you have to like take your hand off the knife and put your hand back on the fork again and like re-push it into the steak. And then you let go and then you grab the knife again. You start cutting the steak again. It's like, how inefficient would it fucking be to eat a steak like that? You have 2 hands. You can do 2 things at the same time. Which is exactly why you should be macroing while you look at your base. Like, you're actually checking your cycles of production while you're also maintaining your mineral lines. And maintaining the timer of the game to do things like expand. So you're managing not only, like, because again, macro has 2 sides, guys. A lot of people don't realize this. A lot of people think macro is one thing only, and they think it's spending your money. But macro is 2 things. It's generating your money and then spending your money. Oh my god, excuse me, sorry. It's spending and also generating. It's really easy to spend your economy, to spend it, if your generation is awful. It's super easy to be like, oh, I have no money. Let's spend that. Vibe, see, my macro's good. I'm keeping my money down. Okay, that's only half of it. How hard would it be right now to spend your money if you were already on 5 bases? Know what I mean? If you had 85 probes on like 5 bases just cranking out crazy income, you're off of your current production, you would have a fuckload of bank. You'd be like, okay, I have like 2,000 minerals, like 1,300 gas. I can't spend this right now. And then you would explode your gateways, and it would make sense then because you could actually afford it. But if you explode your gateways off of weak economy, the only reason why you have a lot of money is because you're not maintaining production. Because you're doing one thing at a time. Check your production while checking your economy. Try to be good about balancing generating that money while trying to be good about spending that money. And the way you want to spend that money is not by building buildings. It's by using your buildings that you already have. Like, again, if you guys go watch like BDGM stuff, you'll notice I actually don't explode gateway count most of my games until I'm like on 4 bases already. And now you did the same thing again, Bon Capitan. You moved your entire fucking army to your 3rd base. I'm glad you left 3 stalkers here. But you moved your entire army to your 3rd base, and you have nothing defending your natural mineral line. And this guy, this is like the 4th time this game, has been harassing your probes. Just spread your units out around your mineral lines. And now what's happening? Look at your production again right now. Watch your production. Watch this. Look at your gateways, your nexus. Like, look at the bottom middle. Don't look at top left. Look at bottom middle. And watch how long you don't do anything here again. This is real time. This is real StarCraft seconds. Like normal StarCraft seconds. Okay, you just made some probes. Proud of you for that. Those were idle for probably like 10 seconds, but you made probes. But you've done nothing with your gateways. You've done nothing with your immortal robo now. Your probes are finishing. There you go. You made some more probes again. So you're doing a decent job with your probes. You're doing nothing with your gateways and your robo. And look at your money. Your money is going up. And it's going to keep going up the longer you don't build your buildings. But I'm going to tell you right now, you have plenty of production here to spend your money repeatedly. You have a very weak economy. And you can physically, if you are actually spinning these repeatedly, like now watch this. Look at this. Let's look at these two gateways that just finished. I'm going to use these two gateways as an example, okay? 23 seconds per unit. So, like, we'll just say 920, because one of them finished at 919, one finished at 921, pretty much. So, we'll just say 920. Every 23 seconds, you could make a unit. How long do you wait to use these? Let's times 4 of this. Okay, well, you actually used one of them. So there's a second gateway somewhere else that you didn't use. It was a different gateway. Sorry. There was actually like one of the, it was this gateway right here. You ended up using this one right there, and these two gateways are the ones you didn't use. But we'll just use these two as an example, because there was you wasted a full round on these, and then you ended up wasting another round on the other ones too. But we'll base it off of these two. Okay, I clicked the wrong two gateways. So 920 off of these two gates, just for fun, just this one time. While you're dealing with this harass in your base and the adepts and stuff. This is like running around and being annoying. Let's wait and see until you use these gates. And we'll do the math on the time that the difference is. Wait until one of them has like a timer, like the gray like clock go down on it. Okay. You just made them. Let's get the exact second. Pause it right when it does it. $10.34. 9:20 to 10:34. We're talking about just two gates, by the way. You did the same thing also with these gates over here for a little while. It's just you did do a warp in one time throughout that. But 9:20 to 10:34. The difference of that is 1 minute and 9 seconds would put you to 10:29, which is 3 rounds of stalkers. That's just stalkers. Zealots are even faster. Zealots are every 20 seconds, not 23. So you just missed 3 stalkers and like a fraction of a 4th stalker off of 2 gateways. That's per gateway. That means that in this time frame that just went by, just this one adept attack that attacked you and you finally cleaned it up, you could have made out of just 2 gateways 6 stalkers. And that was at the start of when you started your last warp in. So you did nothing with 4 gates. It's just that these gates were on cooldown. I hope that makes sense though. But this is why people are in platinum. They don't use their buildings. And look how many stalkers you have right now. You have 19. Just that, we're 10.5 minutes in the game. And just that one moment of the game right there, the 1 minute and 9 second interval of the game, which is like 10%-ish of the game right now, that's like 30% of your stalkers. Or like 25% of your stalkers. Just that one. And that again was only off of 2 gates. If you really want to think about it like this, think about this for a second. 3 stalkers could have been made in that time frame off of these 2 gates. You did make 2 units off of these gates, but you missed 2 out of 3 cycles off those too, because you made nothing off of these either after you made the first cycle. So if you think you could have made 6 off of these, it means you could have made 4 off of these. 2 per gateway. So you actually missed 10 fucking units worth of gateway time in 1 minute and 9 seconds. That is a shit. Now think about this. What if you add up 10 stalkers or zealots or whatever you want to do worth of minerals and gas? That's a lot of fucking resources. That's way more than you have. And the reason why it's way more than you have is because if you efficiently use your money, you can actually stay on 2 gateways and a robo until you're on 4 bases, and then you can explode your gateway count. And the reason why that makes sense to do it like that is because once you take your 4th base and explode your gateway count, you're done making probes and you're done making pylons for the most part. So you actually have a balance and a scale kind of tips one way over the other, where in the early game, you have all of these costs in your build that you're applying your resources to. You're developing nexuses. You're developing probes. You're developing your pylons. You're developing your gas. All these buildings. You're building the robo. You're building your gates. But once you build these things, you have them, and you don't build them anymore. Once you hit 200 supply, you no longer need to keep building pylons. Unless you want to build like 1 at a new nexus for like a warpin or some shit like that. That's fine. But you're not building like a pylon every 10 seconds or something. And once you have all of your nexus, you're not building nexus anymore. Once you have all of your probes, like 80 plus, you're not building probes anymore. These are all things that you delete from your cost. And once you get there, your money explodes, and that's when you replace that cost of all the upkeep of macro to now upkeep of military, like a lot of gates. That's why whenever someone's like, ah, shit, I got 1,800 minerals at 41 probes. Let's make 5 gates right now. It's fucking terrible because you just are delaying your macro generation by so hard by doing that, and you'll never afford that. Like, even like, here's the funny thing is you could actually spend your money if you just fucking macroed properly. Like, even if you're high a little bit, you could probably spin faster than you generate if you just maintain production off your buildings. It would just slowly go down. It's a macro problem. It's always a macro problem for Platinum, honestly. But I'm like, this is we're fine tuning the macro problems of Mount Capitan this game specifically, but it is genuinely a macro problem all the time. It's always macro. And now the opponent attacks at 12 minutes, but at 12 minutes, 154 supply, and no Archons to be in sight anywhere. Which means that the build is just super far behind. Like, upgrades have not even started. Like, you have no upgrades yet. There's 0-0 still. You've scouted, I think, 1 time the entire game with your Sentry hallucination. You just aren't doing it. And now suddenly you're getting attacked by a bunch of Voids and the Stalkers and Immortals. Which, I'm not going to lie, it's not the end of the world. It's not like, okay, well, this is going to, you know, this is like the scariest term you could ever see. If you had a bunch of Archons right now and a bunch of Zealots, you would fucking steamroll this, especially if behind this, you just started making Stalkers and Archons. You would steamroll this if you had that. Also, you have now started spreading your army out around your base a little bit, but you could even do it better, because, again, this is my point I'm trying to make here. Why leave your army in front of your base when you're getting attacked in the mineral line by Adepts? Just fucking leave your army in the mineral line. And you don't have to leave this much there either. You could leave like that much right there. Like 15 supply or something worth of units. Like put chunk of, like, you know, 5 Stalkers and 2 Immortals and like 2 Zealots or whatever the fuck you want to do. Put a little bit in the mineral line. Put a bit in the mineral line. Put a bit in the mineral line. Because I'm going to tell you right now, this is where the reality will set in here for people that, I hope this makes sense. This attack should never catch you off guard, where you're like, well, Vibe, I'm kind of scared about putting units in my mineral line because what if he attacks me with a big army and then I die? That shouldn't exist, because your army should be able to max out before he attacks you with a big army. The fact that you are less supply than him and he's going for higher tech units than you means that you wasted a fuckload of time. It's all it comes down to. So realistically, if you weren't having to run around your probes all the time and chase your probes and micro your stalkers and your immortals and waste a bunch of time not macroing, but if you were just flawless macro while your army A-moved adepts to death with you doing nothing about that. Your army just did it for you because you put them in the right spot. You put them in your mineral line. He walks into your units and now he spends a lot of time wasting time trying to focus fire adepts on the probes here and there, and he's losing adepts at the same time, and he's like trying to load back in the prism, fly around, do it again somewhere else. He's trying to find holes in your defense, but you have units in every mineral line, and he's not really finding it. And you just fuck him over that way. You waste his time. And you're not even trying. You're just putting units there and you're just forgetting about it. And you have flawless macro. You would be maxed out like right about now, honestly. Something right about here. And imagine if you were maxed out right now. What if you were maxed and you were walking to his base right now with a maxed army and you were like, oh, his third base is the newest base, or this base is the newest base. I'll kill this base, then move my way down this way. What if you had like 18 stalkers and like 6 archons and like 6 immortals and 20 zealots or 18 zealots or something? You would fucking murder this guy. And not only that, if he somehow defended the fight, it would be a 3 base per DOS. And remember what I said, the 2-minute rule? Base number 1 is at 0. Base number 2 is at 2 minutes. Base number 3 is at 4 minutes. Base number 4 is at 6 minutes. Base number 5 is at 8 minutes. Base number 6 is at 10 minutes. You would already have 6 fucking Nexus versus a 3 base Protoss in this scenario if you were macroing properly. And even if he won the fight, it's 100% impossible that he would lose nothing. You would cripple him while he would cripple your army. You would cripple his base while you crippled his army. And you would instantly remax, and the next time you remax, because you have a lot of money and a lot of production at that point in the game, you would max the second time, and he would probably be at 117. You would run his ass over again, and somehow, if he fucking survived, you would be at 200, and he would be at 91, or like 86. Let's be real, he's not going to live those fights. But yeah, those are very, very, very strong hypotheticals for this guy to live. He's really not gonna. If you're a PvP and you're at like an 80 supply disadvantage, you're gonna fucking die. Let's be real. So this is what you need to be doing, and you're spending way too much time focusing on the shit that you shouldn't be doing, which is you're just not setting your base up properly. So as we said before, first things first, try to get an understanding of going, okay, this guy's aggressive. Let's do something to defend aggression. And then secondly, okay, this guy likes killing mineral lines. Let's defend mineral lines. And not actually micro. How can I defend my mineral line with no micro? I know. Leave units AFK in the mineral line. On every base at the same time. You have plenty of units to do it. You just sit in front of your base though. And what this does, the way your setup is every time you get hit in the mineral line, what do you have to do? Move your army, because you're not defending a mineral line. You're actually gonna you're putting yourself in a situation where you have to control your army every time he attacks you. With like his adept harass and prism. So I hope this makes sense. Mon Capitan. I hope this helps you, dude. Try your best. You're doing great. I know I am hard on people sometimes, and to be fair, Mon Capitan is constantly improving at the game, so you know. He's made a lot of progress, and there are things he can do to continue to make progress, which is what we talked about this game for sure. But I hope it helps. Much love. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one, and thanks for watching, and good luck. Peace, guys.